3,000 calories, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 calories every day. But we each lost quite a bit of weight, even though we were eating a lot.
So
Because it's so cold and we were hiking around a lot.
So 5,000 calories every day. Takes a lot of effort. So you guys have any other questions for Graham? If you don't mind, Graham, how old are you?
I am 24 years old and Brian is 25.
Well, they're still in college or working.
Yeah. Is there any other questions? Anything you'd like to know about?
What do they drink?
What do you drink, Graham? What did you drink on a daily basis? What kind of things did you keep hydrated with?
What do we drink? Lots and lots of hot chocolate. They took us out here with coffee. Brian and I both like to drink coffee, but they gave us this freeze-dried coffee that tasted awful. It tasted nothing like coffee. I should watch what I'm saying, though, because I'm standing outside of the food building. And the food was very good in general. But lots and lots of coffee and hot chocolate. I think I drank 3 or 4 hot chocolates nearly every day. And then Brian and I learned that if we drink dehydrated milk, some hot milk before we went to sleep, it would help us go to sleep earlier. Because we often were awake in our tents for 4 or 5 hours before going to sleep because of the sunlight, and it's just hard to get our bodies on a normal sleep schedule.
Ask them about the seasons.
Seasons.
What it is.
Oh, so Graham, can you tell us a little bit? I know you mentioned a little bit, but can you say a little bit more about the seasons in Antarctica? So, what season are you in at the moment?
The seasons?
Yeah.
Right now it's summertime down here in McMurdo, and it's a little bit past peak summertime. So the days are starting to get shorter. Well, again, the sun is not 24 hours a day, but the sun is starting to get lower in the sky, and it's going to start getting colder here as well. So in a month or two, around the end of February, the sun will sit here in Antarctica for the first time since the previous year, because the sun is up 24 hours a day for, I think, 3 or 4 months at least. And then shortly after that, it will be dark 24 hours a day. And when it gets dark, when this southern hemisphere of the Earth is basically pointed away from the sun, it gets really, really cold down here. So right now it's about 25 degrees Fahrenheit, so a little warmer than it is in your freezer at home. But in the wintertime, even here at McMurdo Base, it will be well below zero, sometimes 50 or 60 degrees below zero, or even colder. At the South Pole, I think it reaches negative 80 or 80 degrees below freezing.
And it's dark. 80 below, and it's dark for about 5 months of the year. It's a pretty grim place to be in winter. You don't really want to be there in winter if you can avoid it.
Oh, I have a question. Graham, this is Anna.
Oh, hello.
Hi. I wanted to know what you guys wear when you're down there.
Clothing.
What we wear?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we have to wear lots of clothes because there's nothing else to keep us warm. You know, we were out in the field for 7 weeks and we didn't have any heated buildings, so we wear really thick thermal underwear that's made of wool. And wool is good because it basically takes the sweat from our bodies and whisks it away so that it can evaporate. We don't wear cotton, like the underwear that we would wear at home, because that kind of traps moisture close to our bodies and would make us cold. We wear very thick, long underwear. We generally wear a pair of fleece pants under our windproof and snowproof pants. 2 pairs of big, thick wool socks on our feet to keep them warm, because the feet really get cold. And on the top, over our thermal underwear, we wear like a wool shirt, as well as a fleece, kind of a fleece jacket and then some sort of coat. You may have seen the pictures of us in our red jackets. We call the big fluffy ones Big Red. And they're super warm, goose down filled jackets. So, yeah, we really have to wear lots of clothes to keep warm. And of course, we always have sunglasses on because you can really hurt your eyes because the sun's out all day and it reflects off the snow. And big thick gloves or mittens and nice warm hats.
Okay.
Wow.
Any final questions for Graham? Anything you would like to know?
Where does he live?
He lives in Santa Barbara, in Goleta.
What time do they have to wake up?
What time do you have to wake up in the morning, Graham? What time's breakfast at McMurdo?
At McMurdo, they start serving breakfast at 5 a.m. and they stop serving it at 7:30 a.m. just because everyone has to get to work here pretty early. So today, Brian and I got up at 6 o'clock a.m. to go get breakfast because we have a lot of work to do today. We have to return all of our gear, our tents and our cook equipment and our sleeping bags. We have to organize and clean it and return it all today.
Well, Graham, what was the most surprising thing for you living in Antarctica? What surprised you? Or you hadn't
I'm
expected?
sorry, could you please repeat that question?
So, Graham, what was the thing that surprised you the most about living or working in Antarctica? What was the thing that you least expected or were most surprised by?
Ooh, that's a really good question. So, as John said earlier, I'm from Vermont, and it gets really cold in the winter in Vermont. So, I kind of knew what to expect as far as the cold. In fact, the coldest temperatures that we got while we were out here, it gets about that cold in Vermont. Of course, it doesn't stay that cold for very long. It's usually just for a night or a day. But not the cold. I think it's the lack of vegetation, and trees and plants, and just life in general. You know, in Santa Barbara, you used to see, plants, trees, squirrels running around, rodents, sometimes raccoons, skunks, even coyotes, but there's really nothing out here. There are some seals that live or that kind of hang out on the ice just below the base here, but other than that, we don't see any animals, any plants, trees, anything like that. I think that was the most shocking to me.
Okay, so just one quick final question before we let you go. So, how are you going to get from Antarctica, from McMurdo, back to Santa Barbara? How are you going to get back? Where are you going to travel to, and how?
So we take a big Air Force airplane, similar to the one. I think that there's a photo on our blog. I don't know if John's shown it, but we take a big Air Force airplane, and the runway here is actually on the ice. So instead of plowing or making a runway on the island here, on Ross Island, where McMurdo is, the airplanes actually take off and land on the ice.
And then, so from McMurdo, where will you fly to?
From McMurdo, we fly to New Zealand. We fly to Christchurch, New Zealand, which is a city on the South Island of New Zealand. And Brian and I are going to stay there and do some hiking, maybe look at some more glaciers, even though we've seen plenty of glaciers here. And we're going to spend about 2 weeks there before we go back to California.
Okay, good.
I don't know, they had one or two.
One quick question, couple of quick questions.
What kind of rocks do you study?
What kind of rocks are you studying, Graham?
Oh, that's a really good question. So, one of the reasons that this area is so interesting is that there are many, many different kinds of rock types. We have mostly been looking at igneous and metamorphic rocks, so rocks that form from magmas or rocks that have been melted once, as well as rocks that have kind of been heated up and squeezed at really high pressures. But there are also sedimentary rocks, out here, so things like sandstone, things like the rocks we have in Santa Barbara, but a bit older. And there are also a lot of volcanoes that are relatively young. There's a big volcano just above McMurdo Station on Rock Island that is still active. So we're looking at all different rock types, igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary.
Okay, so I think we'll let you go and have do some work and have some lunch, I guess, sometime soon. So I think we'll talk to you
Yeah.
again.
So everyone, let's
Okay,
say,
great.
everyone, let's say
Yeah,
thank
one more
you.
thing.
Thank you.
Something that's kind of neat that the class might find interesting, not find interesting. There's a marathon down here tomorrow. They have an Antarctic marathon. And I think only about 50 people are running it because there aren't many people down here. But they actually are going to run 26 miles on the ice.
Yeah, Antarctic Marathon is tomorrow.
Yep.
Okay.
And, Ryan tried to talk me into doing it. We missed registration yesterday, but we might try to get in still. We'll see.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Graham. And we'll talk to you soon.
Of course. All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye.